Hello and welcome to Deep Dive on NewsX World. I'm Asuma Katauka. We turn our focus today to the most powerful seat in global finance, the chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve. President Donald Trump has announced his nominee today to replace the 16th U.S. Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell. As Powell prepares to step aside in May, the race to lead the world's most influential central bank has now narrowed to a high-stakes shortlist. So who has Trump chosen? He has announced former Federal Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh to head the U.S. Central Bank. Mr. Warsh served on the Fed board during the 2008 financial crisis and has deep Wall Street ties. Trump previously passed him over for Powell 8 years ago, a decision he now reportedly regrets. The president had teased his choice last night, saying the pick is somebody that could have been there a few years ago. Mr. Kevin Warsh's rise to the top of the Federal Reserve is marked by a strategic move across finance, Capitol Hill, and economic policy making. Nominated by President Donald Trump as the 17th Fed chair, Mr. Warsh will replace Mr. Jerome Powell in May 2026. Mr. Warsh's career began at Morgan Stanley, advising major companies before joining President George W. Bush's administration in 2002. In 2006, he became a Fed governor, where his hawkish stance on inflation and interest rates set him apart, especially during the 2008 financial crisis. After leaving the Fed in 2011, Warsh continued shaping economic policy from the private sector. Now, as Fed chair, his leadership promises a shift towards stricter inflation control and closer ties to the White House. What was Trump's criteria for this job? The president has been blunt. He wanted someone who will slash interest rates. The stakes for this selection are monumental. Mr. Warsh, the next Fed chair, will not only manage the dollar, but will directly impact Trump's growth agenda heading into the second year of his term. The markets are bracing for a shift from the cautious hawkishness of the Powell era to a potentially aggressive new era of MAGA-nomics at the Fed. Pragmatism or loyalty, the world has found out today. Markets have already started reacting to the news. The DOW, S&P 500 and Nasdaq are all down in pre-market trading today. Investors are reacting to the latest market trends, with concerns growing over potential shifts in monetary policy following the news of Warsh's appointment as the next Federal Reserve Chair. As the announcement has been made, the global financial order is watching to see if the independence of the Federal Reserve can survive a president determined to steer the economy from the Oval Office. In a turbulent 2026, the U.S. Central Bank is at crossroads, and the choice made today will echo through every market on the planet. Now, to discuss this, we are joined by Mr. Peter Cardillo. He's a chief economist at Spartan Capitals, joins us live from New York. Thank you very much, Mr. Cardillo, for joining us on Deep Dive.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Cardillo, what do you feel about Trump's Fed pick, and what do you think he will bring to the table?
Well, I think it's actually a good pick. I think Wall Street is going to like it. I think Mr. Warsh, being a Wall Street man, was a Wall Street man, I should say, is going to preserve the independence of the Fed. In the past, he was very much somewhat of a hawk in terms of inflation, although recently he has indicated that perhaps inflation is not that much of a problem, basically aligning himself with President Trump. But I think the key point there is not so much as whether he is a hawk or a dove, but the fact that he undoubtedly will preserve the independence of the Fed. And I think the markets eventually will like that.
And how do you think Mr. Kevin Warsh's previous experience at the Federal Reserve during the 2008 financial crisis and as former economic advisor to ex-President Bush will influence his approach to the current economic challenges as Fed chair?
Yeah, well, as I said before, he was one who was looked upon as a governor who favored lower balance sheets and basically stuck to the rules. So, during the financial crisis, everyone was out there to try to save what was possible, and his moves went along with what was in need at that time. So I suspect that that probably could be we could see a repeat of that from now in the present situation. But remember that we're not really in any major crises. So what we have here now is inflation that has come down, but is still elevated, still far from the Fed's targets, and so it's not really a crisis. So I would expect that he's going to take everything into considerations. And remember, his term doesn't start until May, so he has chance to see what the effects, what are the inflationary effects from tariffs are at that time. They might be lower, and that would give him a free hand to loosen credit.
Thank you for highlighting that, Mr. Cardillo. And now, with Warsh's shift towards supporting lower interest rates recently, how do you think his leadership will balance Trump's desire for a more rate-friendly policy with the Fed's traditional independence and focus on long-term economic stability?
Well, like I said before, he was an ex-Wall Street man. He worked on Wall Street. He knows Wall Street. He knows what the markets want. And so I don't think he's going to do anything that would put the markets that would question the markets. And certainly he's not, his pick as nomination is not one that perhaps maybe the market was fearing. Total alliance to the White House. I don't think that's going to be the case. He might be a little bit more liberal in terms of lowering inflation, lowering rates on inflation. But I think bottom line is he's still going to do what's good for the economy and what the Fed's mandate is all about.
Right. And now, last but not least, we cannot ignore the ongoing investigation into Mr. Jerome Powell regarding Fed buildings renovations, which many see as a political pressure tactic. So does this investigation serve as a warning to the incoming chair that any future defiance of the Oval Office could lead to personal legal scrutiny?
Well, Mr. Trump is famous for speaking aloud what he thinks, and I'm sure that if Mr. Warsh doesn't do what Mr. Trump wants him to do immediately or would like him to do, that he'll criticize him. He just said something the other day. I happened to hear it while he was giving a speech that that when people get the jobs, they sort of change. So maybe he was already hinting that Fed nominee Warsh might not actually execute what his wishes are. So I think we keep that in the back of our minds.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Mr. Peter Cardillo for joining us today from New York and sharing that insight. Thank you. Now that was all for this episode of Deep Dive. Stay tuned to NewsX World for more news and updates.